It's another beautiful Tuesday morning right here in the city of Ibadan. It's time to talk sport. This is Dominion Sport on Dominion Television. I'm Boluwaji Ogunmola. Well, the morning after the big reception, the presidential reception and the presidential dinner at Aso Rock yesterday, where the Super Falcons of Nigeria were welcomed to Nigeria by the president of the federation, and they were rewarded handsomely. Although some had come on the internet to criticize that particular package given to our girls. But whichever way you see it, we are glad that, yes, our girls were rewarded handsomely, yeah, beautifully as well, if you know what I'm saying. Well, $100,000 each for the players, and the technical and administrative crew also received $50,000. 3-bedroom apartments also in Abuja for the girls as well. And not forget the OON National Award for all of them. We'll talk about this and, of course, take a look at how teams in the NPFL are preparing for the new season, especially Shooting Stars. Yesterday, the annual general meeting of the NPFL was held in Abuja, where the draws were conducted. Shooting Stars will kick off their new campaign against Bayelsa United here in the city of Ibadan. But then, yesterday, we had club owners, general manager of clubs in Nigeria in Abuja yesterday, and the media caught up with the executive chairman of Shooting Stars, who spoke extensively, especially telling us that Shooting Stars will begin to fly for away matches, especially those in far away north. If you ask me, that's the way to go. Once again, you're welcome on board. Boluwaji Ogunmola is my name. I still have Toluwani Polabi with me as usual in the studio, and of course he's looking like he just left the bank.
I'm looking like someone who's preparing to get to Abuja also to have my own cut of that wonderful donation from the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he's all suited up already, and I'm just hoping that I can get my own cut also. Once again, good morning. Thanks for having me, Boluwaji.
Absolutely, good to have you here, and of course, just like I mentioned, we'll listen to him very shortly. That's Honorable Taiwo Lekon Salami, speaking about the plans for the club this season. But most importantly, confirm that the boys will begin to fly. So they will join the likes of Remo Rangers, who have been flying for away games, especially games in the final.
Yeah, I think I don't want to. It's a whole lot, for Shooting Stars, this season, and it looks like I said, a new dawn already, and it's so much expectations already. Now, I think the management is giving so much to these players, and they have to show the workings on the pitch. I think it has to happen that way because, if a whole management can say we're going to fly you, for away games, that's to show that we were looking forward to. I mean, we're trying to see how we can protect your health, physicality also, so that you can have good games going forward. Because last season, these are the issues with Shooting Stars, right there, having
jet lag
and all, get into the venue a day before the competition. So I think this is a way forward, for Shooting Stars come next season.
All right. Let's hit the ground running this beautiful morning and talk about what happened in Abuja yesterday as holders Remo Stars will begin the defense of their NPFL title against Rivers United. The draw was conducted yesterday, of course, in Abuja during the annual general meeting of the Nigerian Premier Football League. Remo Stars claimed the title for the first time last season. And of course, for record champion Eyimba Football Club of Aba, there will be a way to newly promoted Barao Football Club. Abia Warriors will slug out with Kano Pillars. And of course, don't forget that the first Oriental debut of the season will be between 8-time champions Rangers International and Kun Khalifa Football Club. Don't forget, the new season kicks off on the 22nd of August. Let's take a look at the fixtures. As you can see it on your screen, Abia Warriors kick things off against the Kano Pillars right there at the Umaya Township Stadium. El Kanemi Warriors will take on Better Insurance at the El Kanemi Stadium in Maiduguri. Shooting Stars at Lekon Salami Stadium take on Bayelsa United. Niger Tornadoes versus Nasarawa United. Remo Stars will at home take on Rivers United in Ikenne. Wiki Torres will in Bauchi take on Plateau United. Kwa United will at the Lawrence Township Stadium entertain Ikorodu City. Rangers will welcome Kun Khalifa to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Stadium, and that's the first Oriental derby of the season. Katsina United will take on Wuri Wolves, while Barao Football Club will entertain, of course, record champions Eyimba Football Club. Massive first test for Shooting Stars
honestly.
At home.
At home, actually, and I think it's a way to go by. I think having to play at home will give a morale booster for Shooting Stars to say they can get all 3 points, in the first game of the season right there, and so much is expected of the new management. I'm talking about our coach Nuruddin, Awero also, and his backroom staff, having to see how they can get the first 3 points and give a belief, to the fans and also to
that we know what we're doing.
Yes, we know what we are doing is what we want to see. Hit the ground running is the expectation for this game. Also, I say a major test for Remo Stars against defending champions to see how they can go against Rivers United. It's going to be a big battle right there. Also, you spoke about Rangers International against Kun Khalifat, a big derby, and I'm sure it's going to be a feisty encounter right there. And also Barua, having to entertain, a Yimba,
a tough test for them.
Tough test for them.
First game of the season.
First game of the season to see how they can defend, and get all 3 points on their own turf, against the
Abba Boys.
Abba Boys right there, Yimba. So I think the first match day is going to be a mouth-watering encounter right there, and I'm expecting goals, entertaining football, fireworks right there to see how far the first season can go.
Oh, don't forget, the 22nd of August, it's a Friday. That's when the league will kick off. Well, let's come back to Ibadan and inform you that the chairman of Shooting Stars Sport Club of Ibadan, that's Honorable Taiwo Lekon Salami, has said that they are going to be flying their players to match venues this season. Now, he made this disclosure while speaking with journalists in Abuja yesterday, of course, at the annual general meeting of the Nigerian Premier Football League on Monday. Our Shooting Stars will join the likes of Remo Stars, who are already flying, and of course, Enugu Rangers, who are also already flying for away games, especially the ones at the final. Honorable Salami also said, as part of motivation for the players to do well this season, they are trying to request for a brand new boss for the team. When asked what was responsible for Shooting Stars' poor performance towards the end of last season, Salami said everybody was indeed not happy with what happened to the team, although he didn't, divulge the factors responsible, for the decline in form towards the end of last season. However, assured that such would definitely not repeat itself this coming season. Recall that Shooting Stars started well last season because they were looking to go to get a continental ticket, only to crumble and start struggling towards the end of the season. Meanwhile, Honorable Salami also disclosed that they are preparing well for the new season, and people, especially fans of the club, should begin to prepare to see a new team playing good football. Yeah, that's what they are promising at this point. Shooting Stars chairman, however, assured that they will win their first game against Bayelsa United. Of course, they are condemned to definitely do that for us. And of course, calling on fans to pray for the team. Let's listen to Honorable Taiwo Salami speaking, yesterday in Abuja.
We have a very structured, transformational program for Shooting Stars. That is, I like to tag them the 3 R's, which is we want to re-engineer the club, we want to restructure, and we want to reposition the club for future growth and development. So everything we're doing will be within those 3 pillars of objectives.
Okay, 3 years started well during last season. They pick up, but at a point they were losing very important matches. We saw them lost out of continental assignments. What effort are you putting on ground to make sure that 3SC returns to the continent?
Well, I can assure you that what happened last year will not repeat itself. Okay, if we find ourselves, in the top positions within the league table, we would try as much as possible to sustain that. Many things happened that led to that decline, which was unfortunate. From politics, from officiating, from so many things, issues here and there. But this time around, we believe we're recruiting right. You know, because the first thing is you need to get your best players. You know, there's only so much you can do. If you don't have good players, then you're not really helping yourselves. So, you know, changing the management and the coaching structure, you know, we just felt we needed to do things differently. So we believe with what we're doing right now, we're recruiting right, and you're going to see it on the pitch. You know, when it comes, the coaching crew, they're coming with a playing philosophy that would really engineer the crowd, you know, to really support the team. Everything it's coming together, I must say.
So how many support are you looking for from the state governor?
Well, His Excellency has been very gracious to the club over the years, even more so now. You know, he has assured us that he would support us, you know, wholeheartedly, because he's a football lover too. You know, and you know he's also from Ibadan. You know, Shooting Stars is not even an Ibadan club. It's the pride of the Southwest. So we need to bring that pride back home. The governor has, you know, has extended his hand of support to us, which we're very, you know, grateful for. And, you know, whatever we need, he has also told us that, you know, we should rest assured that he will see to them. So we thank him. We thank him immensely because he's a sport-loving governor.
Okay, sir. For a very long time, Ibadan people have not engaged in a continental game, and which Ibadan people are not waiting to get the match now. What are you doing to make sure that the Shooting Star play continental match this season?
Okay, you know, playing continental is a wish of every club in the league. Okay, more so, particularly Shooting Stars, because of our history and our heritage. As I said earlier, you know, we're trying to reposition this club for greatness. So we are recruiting good players. We believe we've gotten, you know, the best, you know, one of the top coaches in the league. Okay, we're able to recruit, you know, restructuring the business such that, you know, players' welfare, all the things that would affect performance. You know, we're taking our time to actually look into it. You know, this morning alone, I was, you know, speaking with my team regarding medical insurance. There's so many things that comes to, you know, getting the best out of your players. Even things like travel. You know, our fleet is being renovated. We're requesting for new buses. You know, we're going to make it for the first time in the history of Shooting Stars. You know, long distance matches, we're going to be traveling by air. You know, this has never happened. So all the things that we need to put in place to ensure that we get the best out of the team, you know, we're surely doing.
Sir, coming from me, your father is, can you step into it? And you grew up with him, you know what shooting is. Are you going to, I know you can't get close to him, do differently, being the son of the soil.
Okay, well, I'm sure you know, but in case you don't know, you know, my late father is now 37 years since his demise. And, you know, the name still rings a bell. People still remember what Shooting Stars, you know, I keep saying, you know, telling people that, look, what I've seen, even in my 3 weeks here on this seat, you know, there are three religions in Nigeria. There's Muslim, there's Christian, and there's football. Okay, so football is a religion, particularly in the Southwest, particularly in Ibadan, particularly with Shooting Stars. So my dad gave everything he had. You know, he spent his own money, his time. He'll be at training as early as 7 a.m. You know, he's the first and only person that ever took the team abroad. You know, took them to UK all on his own. So those are things that people still remember. And you know, the likes of me, I was younger then. But I was part of that project, and it's a project, of course, that I will definitely continue. You know, I know what the name means. I'm not the only person bearing that name, so it's a name that and ideals that I need to maintain at all costs. You know, so we will do everything to surpass the legacy that he left. You know, look. As it is today, Shooting Stars, we don't have a permanent site. You know, our players are staying in different hostels. There's no togetherness. So the kind of legacy, you know, that I intend to leave is a place where, you know, I'll look back and say, yes, I was the one that was instrumental in putting together a permanent site for Shooting Stars. You know, where you'll have a gym, you'll have restaurants, you'll have hostels, you'll have coaching, accommodation, we'll have training pitches. Sponsorship is another big thing that we're looking at. You're going to see the kind of sponsorship we're going to unveil very soon for the team, because governments cannot do it alone. So we're going to try our own possible best to bring in sponsors. You know, football is business, it's big business. So you can see what we're doing in the social media space. There's so many things that we're trying to make sure we get right. Though we don't have much time, but we
Are you listening to the executive chairman of Shooting Stars, Honorable Taiwo Lekan Salami, speaking in Abuja yesterday, and of course telling us the things we want to hear, right, Stiluani?
Yeah, actually, I think these are the things that we want to hear, that will give us, so much joy going forward to supporting Shooting Stars. You know, he actually picked the 3 R's. He talked about re-engineering, he talked about restructure and reposition. Also, he made a big statement saying football is a religion, especially in Ibadan.
It is a religion.
I think those are bold statements coming from Honorable Lekan Salami, and I'm sure he has every dream to propel Shooting Stars to the limelight. I remember he also spoke about his father saying, he saw his father leave a legacy that showed so much joy, in the city of Ibadan. Right now, he wants to pick up from that legacy and also push forward to see how far Shooting Stars can go. And also remember, he also spoke about Shooting Stars, moving into a new level when it comes to away matches. Also, is a big move. It's a very, very big move and a bold statement. I'm coming from Honorable Lekan Salami. Also, like I said, I think the players now have it all to do. The coaching staff has it all to do. Remember, he also said, the new coach has his own plan, his own tactics, philosophy, that he wants to bring into the system. So I think right now the players have it all to do, and also the fans also wants to back the players going forward in the next season coming forward.
He spoke about what they've been doing on social media, and I would just like you to look at the screen and take a look at Shooting Stars' home kit.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful for the new season.
Yeah, they're actually really beautiful, for the new season, and I think this is a sight to behold, and I'm sure every fan, should be getting one of these, supporting, the club. Also, remember, our football is a big merchandise. It grows the economy for you. So imagine to see if we have 5,000 of these jerseys out, and it's all sold out already within 2-3 weeks. It's a big movement for the club, and it gives them, more money to see how they can pump into several areas, going forward. I think this is a wonderful jersey, and I'm sure the players will be proud to put on this jersey going forward next season.
So one of the things he also promised to do is to digitalize ticketing.
Yeah.
And I must say that sometime 2 seasons ago, the one before the last report, I actually got this firsthand from the Commissioner for Youth and Sport in Oyo State, saying that at the end of the season, after ticket sales and all of that, the club reported sales of about 100,000 naira for the entire season.
On digital sale?
No, not digital, of course. It's not digital. People just buy tickets and walk in.
So I'm sorry. So I guess maybe I didn't hear properly. So the all sale for the season, 100,000. Then that means I think there's something wrong with the structure.
And the stadium is like a 10,000 capacity.
Yes.
Stadium.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I've been at Shooting Stars games, it might not be every of the game, but at least 3, and I see it's full and packed. That means there's something wrong somewhere. So that means they are free entrance for people, or maybe the money's coming in and they're not, putting it into, so it's a whole lot. But I just hope that, like you said, it's going to be a new season, and I'm expecting, the money is being, pumped into the right quarters going forward.
That has been a very big issue, but digitalizing ticketing will solve that problem. Let's talk about Abakaliki KFC. That, of course, got us talking last season. Well, we understand that they've retained 27 players for the 2025-2026 season in the NNL. The retained players are Elochoku Pascal, Akambi Raimi, Timothy Cyril, Ezema Ifeanyi, Oguchizom, Ulo Chizom, Wafo Ejike, Uche Amarachi, Ogu Emeka, Omar Joseph, Carlo Collins, Promise Uche, and Chuku Onoche. Others are Ene Daniel, Wisdom Ifeanyi, Alo Friday, and of course a whole long list of those players. The players are expected to resume training later on Thursday, that's next week, the 7th of August, to start preparations for the upcoming Nigerian National League season. Now, I know your next question, but Abakaliki FC have been admitted back to the NNL, having acquired the promotion slot of Hamola Football Club. You recall that Abakaliki FC were relegated to the third-tier league at the end of last season. And I was going to answer that question before you answer. How come? How are they coming back? Because don't forget, while they were doing well in the Federation Club, they got relegated in the league. And you know, and it's honestly that's one club that is very purposeful. I mean, for them to have made the finals of the Federation Club, it means that they know what they're doing. Yet things might be difficult for them in the league. But then they're saying, let's buy a slot, return to the NNL, and see what we can do from there.
Actually, it's a good. So I was about asking, you know, so this buying of slot, is it legal?
Yeah, it is. Okay. It is.
So I think if it's legal, I think you know, it's a big stepping stone for Abakaliki, a second chance again to do it right, you know, in the next season. So let's see how far they can go. Remember, like you said, you know, it's a growing club, and you know, for them to have achieved that feat in the final for the Federation. So it's a lot. I would love to see them, you know, fight another slot again in the NNL come next season. And also retaining the players. I'm sorry, retaining the players is a big deal.
27 players.
27, not a club like Kun Khalifat, you know, just in the NPFL already saying like, you know, the major stars are out of the club already. So I think it's a big one for you know, Abakaliki FC.
They need the money.
Actually,
they need the money. Kun Khalifat need the money. So let's sell some players. All right, let's go to Abuja. Well, the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau, has described the reign of blessings from President Bola Tinubu as a major force to motivate and encourage Nigerian girl child to search for greatness through legitimate pathways. President Tinubu yesterday, remember, of course, rewarded each of the 24 players of the Women African Cup of Nations winning Super Falcons with a national award of the Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON, a 3-bedroom apartment, and the sum of $100,000. The good tidings also got to the team's 11-person technical and administrative crew, who were also given national awards, 3-bedroom apartments, and the sum of $50,000 each. And the pronouncements were made during the reception for the African champions at the presidential villa on their arrival from Morocco yesterday, where they won the 10th edition of the WAFCON to make it a record-extending 10th triumph at the Continental's flagship competition for the women. Monday's outpouring of goodies for the girls also included the sum of 10 million naira to each of the players and their 11-person technical administrative crew by the Governors Forum, as well as financial gestures of 1 million naira to each of the 24 players, and that came from 6 Super Eagles players.
Wow, beautiful.
Captain William Trostekong, Olaoluwa, Ademola Lookman, Alex Iwobi, Leonard Mbalogun, and Joseph Ayodele Aribo.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's huge, right?
Huge. And, you know,
massive.
What's affailing me right now? Because, you know, honestly, so we've not even said anything about the money they even made from the tournament. So they have that one in the locker separately.
Absolutely.
You know, another money again, you know, from the president and all. You know, I really want to say maybe I just hope there's not going to be audio money, you know, outside. So I just hope that, you know,
it had never been audio money.
So I just hope they get all those, you know, financial, you know, stability and well deserved from the players. But, you know, for me, I'm sure, you know, I've seen comments from people saying, I think, you know, this money, you know, should have been popped into, you know, the grassroots football for women. You spoke about it yesterday. So I'm not taking anything away, you know, from not giving these girls the money. They deserve it. But I think, you know, we should have a structure.
You know, why I agree with you is, you remember, we spoke about it some time ago to say how our Nigerian female clubs are struggling in the league.
You said it yesterday.
Yeah, you know, how they don't even play on regular grass. Some play on sand, you know, league football. So when they go to the continent, you know, to play Champions League football on the continent, they get to disappoint, they struggle, things don't work smoothly. And at the end of the day, those players who really do the job for us here, like we see here, you know, at AFCON and all of that, that do the job, are just the ones who muscle their strength out, find their way to Europe, and come back to develop. Honestly, we are not doing enough on the grassroots. We're not doing enough. And maybe the fund, the $1 million coming from CAF, it should honestly, with all of this that have been done yesterday, should just go to grassroots
development. You know, right there, because I'm sure, you know, we have the talent in Nigeria. Honestly, if you look at the world generally, you know, you see grassroots talent in Nigeria. But the problem is the productivity of this, you know, talent. You know, how do you grow them into the system? Do we have the right system in place to even grow them, you know, into becoming world stars right there? And I think, you know, it's a major outcry every day on the show that we want it to be done properly, because we have now Azeezat Oshoala Agbabola, you know, she said we should not call her Agbabola again, we should call her OON. You know, she's saying right now, I'm sure she's going to hang the boots at some point in time. You know, other players too. But how do we get you know, the new stars like this, you know, coming? Are we going to be picking again? You know, from international scenes? We need them in our own league. So we need to put things in place going forward. And I'm just praying that these things are done properly. Honestly speaking, I was even wishing, I was even praying that maybe Rasheedat Ajibade should just pray to himself, just 1 minute, sir. Please, sir, can you also, you know, can you help us grow? I was just praying that maybe one of them should just say to his ears. But I'm sure, you know, all these things would have been said to him, and I'm hoping that, you know, we can put this in place going forward.
You know, the truth of the matter is, if you want what happened yesterday to repeat itself, you must start from the grassroots, right?
True.
If you want it to repeat itself, you want to be celebrated next year. The next one is happening next year. The following year, you must go to the grassroots and get the job done from the grassroots. Well, yesterday, of course, you saw everybody on your screen just now. You know, the players meeting Mr. President and the First Lady. Right there, everyone that matters. But someone who stood out for me yesterday has to be Madam Aisha Falode, board member of the NFF, who was there praising the president for that kind gesture. Let's listen to Aisha Falode.
Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our father, a great father to the nation, and our mother, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. This is the first time a president who hosts the Super Falcons of Nigeria to a presidential reception in the 10 times that we have won the Africa Women's Championship, now known as Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The first time a president who hosts the Super Falcons in the 10 times they have won this tournament. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's Aisha Falode. Of course, she's done so well for Nigerian female football, I must say, and it was quite important to bring her on. All right, let's talk about what happened in the evening yesterday. It was the presidential dinner in honor of the Super Falcons of Nigeria, where we had Afrobeat stars, especially Tenny, you know, bringing the vibe, bringing out the beast in the girls. All that we're seeing on social media during the WAFCON, we're just playing. But yesterday, the girls scattered ground last night. Knowing that 150 million naira was somewhere, plus a 10 million, plus another 1 million, plus three bedroom flats in Abuja, plus national award. Then that one is there. Then they now brought superstars to come and perform. You will lose your home training.
Honestly, you actually, and I'm sure they lost their home training right there. You know, you can see Flavor Nabania, you know, giving good music right there. Also Tenny, also we have Fido, also you know, giving good music, you know, to these superstars that have done the job for Nigeria. Like I said, I think one thing football, you know, has been able to do to Nigeria is to bring love, unity, and peace. You know, trust me, everybody starts talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria since.
Chiamaka never disappoints.
Chiamaka not disappointing, giving us that Igbo steps right there. You know, I think you know, a major shout out to the Super Falcons, and then that's Tenny also, you know, giving good music right there to the Super Falcons. of Nigeria. I think, you know, a great one, and we're expecting more of these, you know, to keep going. I'm sure, you know, in the world of basketball today, they'll be expecting them to also pick up victory to see how they can celebrate it. Also, I'm sure the Chan Eagles too, they'll be motivated to see, come on, everybody should be motivated right now to see how far they can go, to see, you know, to get this presidential, you know, visit from the president of the federation.
Absolutely, it was what a night it was yesterday for the girls, and I can tell you right now that the girls are still sleeping at this point. They are still sleeping.
Okay, well done.
Because last night was huge.
Yes,
it was huge.
All work and no play.
What a night for the girls. What a night for them. Of course, doing our job. But then I was going through social media yesterday, and I saw people, you know, criticizing the federal government, saying that this economy, you are splashing billions out to already established players. And I thought, okay, maybe we should talk about it. I mean, what do you make of the Lajes? I mean, the fund, money.
How many of them are established is the question you ask. How many of them are making the money? The female football league, generally, the Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, the Italian, whatever league they are, they're not making enough money than the male side. So if they get this money, I think it's well deserved for them. I saw a video immediately the president announced the money. Agbabola herself kept her hand on her head. She understands the amount of money coming in.
Someone who had played for Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona, now plays in America for BFC.
And she's getting her mouth and putting her hand on her head. You wonder, to say, come on, you get this money. But that money will sort bills. And I'm sure most of these players, you know, they have charity organizations that they pump money into grassroots football also. You will know them. Rachel Adibade, she has her own club. You know, Agbabola also. All of them, you know, have foundations where this money is going to.
So also help develop female football.
For female football also, so come on. Well, I can understand, like I said on the show, you know, we know that this money, you know, can also go into, you know, other development in Nigeria. But come on, this lady deserves it. They deserve it.
All right, you listen to him, but let's talk about the Moroccans at this point. Haven't celebrated us. Let's talk about the Moroccans. Well, we understand that they're sending an official complaints to Confederation of African Football, complaining about match officiating. You recall that the central referee initially pointed to the penalty spot, you know, after Nigeria had equalized 2-2. Then went to the VAR to review, came back, and you know, struck out the penalty call. The Federation of Football in Morocco are saying that the referee wasn't given enough footage to review, and that was why she took that decision. But then, whatever happens, that cannot change what has happened already. Yeah, we are the champions and we remain the champions. I remember that game, that day, it wasn't very much on camera, but I saw it somewhere where the president of Moroccan Football Federation was attacking the referee, speaking to the referee who actually after the game to say, oh, that was a penalty, should I give him another penalty? And all that. Gianni Infantino, the president, was like, decorum, please. Decorum, please. But then, why are they bitter? Why are they bitter?
You shouldn't be doing that, you know. But for me, I'm sure that penalty call was not, you know, I think the VAR system did justice to that game, trust me. Because if you play back the video again, you will understand why, you know.
They were saying they were watching a better TV replay.
Come on. There's a reason why they pick this referee, you know, for a major final like this, and you know, so it's a whole lot. So I think the deed is done already. Congratulations.
So my producer putting out this Moroccan journalist whipping. This is not that nice.
Actually.
All right. On the brighter side for the Moroccans, well, CAF has officially announced Morocco as host nation for the 2026 Africa Women's Cup of Nations. The Super Falcons, remember, a match champion of the last edition, 2024 edition, held this year. Now we'll have the next one next year in Morocco. And that's the third consecutive time that Moroccans will be hosting the competition. Let's see, they will be lucky this time around. Don't forget, first time, last time, 2022, they lost to the South Africans. Second time they hosted, lost to Nigeria. Who are they losing to next year? Only time will tell. Let's go straight to Zanzibar, where Nigeria's Super Eagles B team played out a goalless draw against Zanzibar in a friendly encounter on Monday at the Aman Stadium. The match was part of the team's preparations for the 2024 African Nations Championship, due to take place from the 2nd of August to the 30th of August. And despite the lack of goals, the match offered valuable insights for head coach Eric Schell and his coaching staff, particularly in assessing the tactical discipline, defensive organization, and on-field chemistry of the locally based players. Well, the CHAN competition, co-hosted this year by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, is exclusively open to players proactively playing in the domestic leagues, providing a vital platform for emerging homegrown talent. Nigeria is expected to face Zanzibar again in a second preparatory match on Thursday, yes, as part of ongoing effort to fine-tune the squad ahead of the tournament. And there you have it on your screen during the friendly game yesterday. Well, before we talk about that, something a whole lot more interesting. Well, CAF has announced a record-breaking total prize money of $10.4 million for the 2024 African Nations Championship, marking a significant financial milestone for the tournament and underscoring CAF's commitment to elevating the profile of African football. Now, for the first time in the tournament's history, the champions will receive $3.5 million, and that's equivalent to 5.3 billion naira, representing a 75% increase from the $2 million awarded in the previous edition. The runners-up will go home with $1.2 million, while the third and fourth place teams will earn $700,000 and $600,000 respectively. Now, in a move aimed at incentivizing broader participation in the competition, CAF has also allocated rewards for lower-ranking teams. Now, quarterfinalists will go with $50,000, while group stage finishers will go with $200,000, $300,000, depending on how they end up in that group. Now, CAF President Patrick Motsepe emphasized that the increased prize money is part of a wider strategy, to invest in domestic football and showcase homegrown talent on the continental stage. The 2024 edition of CHAN, officially titled CAF African Nations Championship, Kenya, Tanzania, and Ghana 2024, marks the first time the tournament will be jointly hosted by 3 countries. Of course, the take place from the 2nd of August to the 30th of August, and of course, it will feature 19 teams, including defending champions Senegal, past winners Morocco, and DR Congo, and of course, regional heavyweights like Nigeria, Algeria, Guinea, Zambia, of course, all looking to pick up that big prize ahead. Nigeria, just as our ladies who just won the WAFCON, would have the opportunity to earn 5 billion naira prize money if the Super Eagles B team can go all the way to win this title. For the Young-based Eagles, this edition carries added significance. Of course, the Eagles are returned to the tournament after missing the previous editions. Yeah. All right. And, oh boy, who would want to pocket $5.3 billion?
Yes.
Billion.
Honestly, firstly, I must give credit, to CAF.
Patrick Motsepe, the president of CAF.
I must,
he promised us.
Yes, I'm just doff my hat for him. Another price increase. Remember, WAFCON was an increase, and right now we're having CHAN also an increase. So
it will go a long way for development of African football. Just imagine Nigeria winning 5.3 billion naira. And pumping that into our league. Oh boy,
it's massive.
Players won't be going out anyhow.
They won't be going out anyhow.
They're going out to obscure leagues.
And I'm sure every player will now be fighting for a shirt, in the CHAN team, because it's a whole lot of it's a lot of pressure right now, and I'm sure Eric Shells will want to be part of this. Remember, this has not been in our cabinet. The trophy has not been in our cabinet before, and I'm sure he wants to be the first to achieve this feat, alongside other coaching staff and also the players. So aside from the money, I'm sure this it's going to be a big deal, for us to see how far we can go, and also the money is going to be a big boost into growing at the league right here in Nigeria, because we need to grow the league. We have so much to do, going forward, because I'm sure we want to be a big force also in continent football. Right there, I want to have our name on the lips of every other country, going forward. So I think it's a big ups, to the CAF president.
Absolutely,
right,
big ups to CAF, big ups to the president of CAF, Patrick Motsepe. Well, when he was named president, when he assumed that position, he promised major development to African football, especially prize money and everything that has to do with the glamour of African football. And that he has done pretty well. Just imagine just a CHAN competition in Kenya, Uganda, and for domestic players, and 5.3 billion at stake, naira at stake for the eventual winner. That's huge, I must say. Away from football, let's talk athletics. Where the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has announced the Yaba Tech Sports Complex in Lagos as the host venue for the 2025 World Championships trials, built to take place from the 31st of July to the 2nd of August. And the decision was finalized on Monday, just 3 days before the event, following uncertainty surrounding the initial venue, and that was the MK Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta, which was not cleared by World Athletics. The trials serves as a mandatory selection event for Nigeria's senior athletics team ahead of the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, Japan. World record holders in the women's 100 meter, that's Oluwatobiloba Amusan, is already in the country and was seen at the Yaba Tech complex alongside fellow hurdler Adaobi Tubogbo last week. Meanwhile, Nigeria's relay teams are still chasing qualification for the World Championships after missing the World Relays in May. They can still secure their spots by ranking among the best teams globally before the qualification window closes on the 24th of August. The plan was to have it at the MKO Abiola Stadium, where we had the sport festival, where we had the CA competition as well. But unfortunately, World Athletics didn't approve that track to host it. But then went to Yaba Sport Tech. We're having it there. The next couple of days, two days from now, all the big boys in athletics, big girls in athletics in Nigeria will converge there for qualification. I mean,
a big one. Yes, actually, and I'm sure we will be speaking about this to see how we can grow, the athletics, in Nigeria right here. And I'm sure it's going to bring in, young talent, people who want to. It's a tryout.
It's a qualifiers
also right there. So I think we need to see how we can groom all those people together and have them ready, ready for the World Championship. Yeah.
Absolutely ready for the World Championships are coming up in Tokyo, Japan. Let's talk basketball from the local scene. Our league, the Savannah Conference of the Nigerian Women's Basketball League, is set to tip off later today at the indoor hall of the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. This comes shortly after the thrilling conclusion of the Atlantic Conference held in Benin City. Monday was dedicated to the arrival of participating teams and the official pre-match technical meeting, which held at 4 p.m. Now, day one action begins, of course, already started about 1 hour ago with 4 exciting games on schedule as phase 1 of the Savannah Conference gets underway. The conference will run until the 5th of August, after which teams are expected to depart. All matches will take place at the indoor hall, Abuja, as top women's team battle for qualification to the next phase of the Nigeria's Premier Women's Basketball Championship. And of course, on your screen, you have the fixtures right there. All right, there you have it on your screen. All the teams that will be going head-to-head in that particular conference there. The Atlantic Conference, just 5 teams took part in that one in Benin City. But then, Nigerian Basketball League, I don't come on my hand. Nigeria's Tigers, they actually staged an incredible comeback to beat Mozambique 65 points in the women's Afrobasket in Cote d'Ivoire yesterday. After a tough first half, the Tigers, stayed on course to win Mozambique and book a place in the quarterfinals. The Mozambique side came out strong and stayed in control for most of the game, but Nigeria showed resilience, especially with Ezine Kalu, stepping up with 16 points in that particular encounter, and that win took us straight to the quarterfinals of the Afrobasket as we continue our push to win it again.
Yeah, I think, honestly speaking, a big battle right there against, Mozambique. I'm sure, if you look at the start before this game, you'll see that, they are a side, to want to come, play, to actually play the Tigers right there in this competition.
To push us
through the limits. But I'm sure, we had everything planned out, and, we knew how to, across that order. And Ezine Kalu, are pulling that one through right there for us also. I think it's a major one. Very close call. 60-55 right there in that one, but right now we are through into the next round of the competition, and I'm sure all eyes are set to see how far we can go in this competition.
Absolutely.
And remember, we are defending champions. I'm sure
job done. And what you were seeing, there you have it on your screen, the results, 60 to 55 points, very close, but our girls showed superiority. And you will see there where the girls were actually celebrating, dancing. I mean, that says a lot. That says
I think it's
a lot about...
It's a dancing season for the female.
And that says a lot about what they went through on the court. It was a difficult game for the girls, and of course the job was done, eventually done and dusted right there. I wish the girls all the best. They want them to win, and I'm wondering why my producer is not putting on Wakama.
I was about speaking about that. Okay.
You don't have to talk about it.
I hope somebody will watch this video, because I was speaking about, I said something about Wakama, on the radio, and somebody said, you are going to find me. I said, no, the person needs to go back and watch this video, and I'm sure I'll remind the person again to watch this video again, and will understand why I mentioned, Boluwaji and Wakama on the radio. So I'm sure we understand.
Well, so if you have a final coach, raise up your hand. All right, there you have our beautiful ladies out there doing their thing on and off the court, representing us pretty well, and we're indeed proud of the ladies, honestly speaking, as they go on. Of course, hope to retain the title once again. We want to have them celebrated, right?
Yeah, true.
Just like the girls were celebrated yesterday.
So the question that we don't know if the money will be double or maybe so, but we'll. Let's just.
All right, our time fast spent. So then we need to go straight to South America and talk about the Women's Copa America, where Colombia booked their spot in the Women's Copa America final yesterday after edging Argentina 5-4 in a nail-biting penalty shootout win, following a goalless semi-final in that particular encounter. Well, on your screen, you will have the results of that particular encounter. That game ended goalless. I mean, you hardly get that kind of result in the South America League. True. And there you have it. 0-0. It ended Argentina, Colombia. Then Colombia had better plans.
Actually, better plans are right there in the penalty shootout. And remember, penalty shootout is anybody's game. Who can get that? They got that victory against Argentina.
Well, there you have it. They are in the finals already and waiting for the winner of the Paraguay-Brazil game.
Yeah, the Paraguay-Brazil game. And I'm sure it's going to be a big battle. And, I just hope to see, Brazil. Yes, I just have to see how Brazil get through into that one, to see how they can get to the final of that competition.
All right, there you have the fifth place final. Fifth place final. That was between Chile and Paraguay. Paraguay won that by a single goal. That's for the fifth place team. Because it sounds like a qualifier. And I'm sure you would want to see highlights of that semi-final game and that fifth place game. Now, that fifth place game is to determine. So they already know of course, we'll know who will win, right? Second place